Zoom meeting. So the Zoom meeting has started. For all of you who have registered can come in the Zoom meeting. And if you, because I'm going to keep talking on the live while still the recording is happening on Zoom. The Zoom room is open. So if you want to see the slides, because you can't see the slides here, if you want to see the slides, if you are someone who likes that sort of interaction where the words are written and then it's easy for you to read, you can come and attend the Zoom room. Or you can DM me and I can send you a recording of the Zoom room. Okay, so today we are going to talk about, let me just share my screen. Okay, we are going to talk about how to plan meals in PCOS. Yeah, hold on, let me just share and see what's going on. I want to make the slideshow. And anyone who enters the room in Zoom room, they will, I won't be able to admit you in yet. Okay, slideshow. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to plan meals in PCOS, and I'm Dr. Rashmi Pawar. Now, this is the agenda of this meeting is basically to help you out with certain food decisions that will help you reverse PCOS. Like PCOS is a condition can't be corrected permanently. It's not like an antibiotic I can give you and you're healed. No, it demands you to live in a lifestyle which needs to be maintained for the rest of your life. So certain food decisions that will help you in reversing PCOS. Second is to know your emotional eating patterns. Third is ways to plan a PCOS friendly meal. And fourth is ways to solidify new PCOS friendly meal habits. And at the end, I will talk briefly about ways to work with me if you are interested. And the end will be with a Q&A session. If you have any queries, I will address to all the questions and all the comments in here at the end. Okay, so why should you listen to me? And who am I? So I'm Dr. Rashmi Pawar. I'm a specialist gynecologist for almost 15 years. I have done my master's in India, and I have an MS degree, I have a DNB degree, and I have worked as a specialist, especially in a high risk obstetric place with the best of all facilities, high tech in Abu Dhabi, in UAE, where we have treated our patients with the best amenities in the world. And I came across most common cause of most of our patients suffering, which was PCOS. They were either already obese, they were having prediabetes, they were having PCOS, they were taking fertility treatments, and a lot of complications patients suffered from purely because of uncorrected PCOS, and they were getting pregnant while they were insulin resistant. So at the end of all that, I also had PCOS and I suffered through the complications of PCOS. My pregnancy was high risk, but at the end, luckily, everything turned out fine. She was a bit small. I had diabetes. I had high blood pressure, all of those complications, which I don't want my patients to suffer. I finally lost weight, around 22 kilos of weight, when my baby was like almost a year old. And I lost it using the mindset tools, like not just by gym. I didn't exercise in a gym. I didn't go on a crash diet. I did it with intermittent fasting, but it demanded me, like it was not just about losing weight for 6 months and then finish. No, it demanded me to change my mind, the way I think about food, so that I could maintain that weight loss for almost 5 years. So that's why you should listen to me. And also, I happen to be a life coach and a master certified life coach who specializes in weight loss. So I right now do general life coaching on every area of life. Basically, I coach for my coach, Brooke Castillo, with the Life Coach School. I coach almost 15 to 20 hours a week to her clients. And I also have my own private practice where I coach PCOS women lose weight so that they can regulate their periods and get pregnant naturally. All right. So that's why you should listen to me. Now, first, let's check base on whether you have PCOS, right? Now, this is common because many PCOS women, they actually they suspect they might have PCOS, but they're not sure, right? Let me just take a sip of water. I just had a meal which was like very salty. And every time you have salty food, you will notice you get very thirsty. That's nature's way of diluting that salt in your blood. So I digress. Anyway, do you have PCOS, right? You will know you have PCOS if you have one of the above. Either your periods are completely irregular, there is some problem with the periods, it's not coming clockwork, or you're bleeding heavily, or you have irregular periods, like they're coming without any medication, but they're like 31-day cycle, 40-day cycle, 45-day cycle. There is no clue, like it's actually like what's happening. You will not have any clue. Or you might have no periods for like 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, or you need to take medication to get your period. So that is sort of a hallmark of PCOS. What happened? The next is if you have adult acne. Like adults don't generally have so much acne on their face. There are many women, like they probably had it in their teens and 20s, probably, but as adults, we don't have so much acne. And if you're having that cystic acne, which is painful and scars, that is again typical of PCOS because of the excess testosterone in your blood, right? And that's again happening because of the insulin resistance. So that could be one of the signs of PCOS. The other one is excess hair growth, excess facial hair growth. Women are not supposed to have hair here. Like fine hair is okay, but if it's thick hair, you're not supposed to have hair here on your jawline, or in front of your chest, or around the nipples, or in front of your belly, below the belly. You're not supposed to have hair there. So if there is hair there, you might have PCOS. There is rapid weight gain. There's just weight gain happening each year, and you're struggling to lose weight. Like you have no clue what to do, how to lose weight. In fact, you keep telling yourself you're weak. There's something wrong with you. You're just not losing weight. You could have PCOS, or you are struggling to get pregnant. That could mean you have PCOS. Now, pregnancy, fertility demands man, woman, and their meeting, right? And infertility can be because of a female factor, it can be because of a male factor, it can be because of combination of factors, right? But PCOS is one of the female infertility causes. Or sometimes PCOS can also present as thinning of hair here, female pattern hair loss. That is typical when the testosterone is again slightly higher. The male hormone is slightly higher in a female. Thinning of hair can happen. Or dark skin behind the neck. It's called acanthosis nigricans. Behind the neck, underarms, under the breast, dark skin, dark velvety skin. That's a hallmark of PCOS, right? So, why do women get PCOS? Well, it could be acquired or genetic. Now, genetic is basically there's a family history of obesity. Everyone in the family is obese, or there's a strong family history of diabetes, then you might get PCOS. Family history of PCOS, your mothers, your sisters are having PCOS, your aunts are having PCOS, or your mother had diabetes in pregnancy. That could also be a cause of PCOS, right? Like your mother had, like my mother probably had diabetes because we were really obese, not obese, but we were overweight children. And the mother might have high sugars in pregnancy, and she was not aware of it. The babies turned out to be big and bulky and chubby. So that could be something which is coming genetically. The mother had high sugar in her blood, and that sort of impacted the insulin resistance in the baby. Or it could be acquired. Acquired as in you have suddenly started consuming excessive processed food and excessive sugar consumption, which led to the rapid weight gain. Rapidly, you started noticing the periods became irregular, or there was like sudden infections are coming up, or suddenly acne, facial hair. No physical activity, like students especially, they will suddenly start studying too much. Or even people who are working, they might suddenly like start being indoors on their chairs. There's really no time for physical activity. Poor sleep, this is This is like, even if you don't take away anything, like understand, if you just correct your sleep, so many of your problems are sorted. PCOS could be because of poor sleep, emotional stress. I'm sorry, there is a slideshow behind, and my phones are like just blocking me. So those are the causes. Now, what is the main problem of PCOS, right? Like the whole conversation that we are doing, it could be, hold on. Sorry. My allergies. If I consume any, sorry, if I consume any sort of flour and sugar, it all gets activated. It's like my immunity comes down. I'm very in tune with my body at this point because of this work that I do, and I want you guys to become so much aware of your own self that what other people do doesn't really matter. What matters is what you do. Anyway, what is the main problem of PCOS? Like, how is it really impacting you and your body? The main problem is insulin resistance. That is the main problem. That is the pre-diabetes, which is so bad that your ovulation system stops. Your ovulation, the ability to make a monthly egg, that stops. That shouldn't stop normally. For women, that should not stop. Women between the age of 15 to say 45, they should have monthly regular periods because they are making an egg every month. That's how we are genetically programmed. But in PCOS women, they have this insulin resistance, which is happening, which is not good for the babies. That's why it stops ovulation. It's one of nature's defense mechanism so that the baby doesn't grow in that insulin resistance because it's toxic for that baby. That insulin resistance is going to prevent sugar to be metabolized. That sugar is going to keep floating before it's converted into fats, and that's going to harm the baby. So that's why it's a nature's defense mechanism to stop the ovulation so that your periods become irregular. Also, prediabetes is harmful for the baby. As I said, it's toxic while the baby is in the uterus and even when it comes out. So some mothers, they didn't have so much diabetes in pregnancy, the babies came out fine, but then they keep giving sugar. The formula itself can be a lot, like there is no limit, right? The child cannot tell you I'm full, so the mothers keep feeding the baby even after they come. Like that's how we love, right? So we keep feeding the child thinking that we are doing good, but we are actually causing them obesity, pre-diabetes, insulin resistant childhood obesity. So if there is severe insulin resistance in a woman, there will be no ovulation, right? That's the integral, because some of the patients, they would just be overweight, they would have acne, excessive acne, they would have facial hair, but their periods will be regular. So it's not that bad yet. The ovulation is not yet affected, but it can get affected anytime. It can present as infertility. So insulin resistance is also worsened by increased stress hormone. And this happens with inadequate sleep. It's strange, right? Like when we are stressed, the only thing we actually need to do is sleep. And that's what happens with depression, right? Like patients are like sleeping so much, they just can't get out of the bed, but they're like sleeping too much. So there needs to be a balance between both sleeping less and sleeping excessively. So, and that is depending on how you feel. If you're feeling good when you're feeling waking up, you're feeling fresh, that means you probably got enough sleep. But if you're not feeling fresh, that means that something happened in your sleep. It was probably not good. So inadequate sleep, improper fragmented sleep can lead to excess stress hormone. Even the excess stress hormone can happen due to emotional chronic stress, caffeine consumption, especially if the caffeine is consumed after 3 p.m. because caffeine as a drug, as a chemical, will stay in your system, in your blood, for almost 10 to 12 hours. A quarter life of caffeine, half life is 5 to 6 hours, and quarter life is 10 to 12 hours. So if you had your last cup of coffee at 12 p.m., it's going to be in your blood by 10 p.m. to 12 p.m., 12 a.m., and you're not going to be able to sleep. So that's why it's so important to not have coffee after 10 a.m. or 12 p.m., especially if you struggle to fall asleep and you have sleep issues. Other thing which worsens insulin resistance is inflammation. And this can happen by consuming a lot of fried foods, saturated fats, processed foods, refined foods. These are not natural foods. We are not supposed to consume this. We really don't need it, actually. I mean, not everyone gets affected by these foods, but those with insulin resistance, they get affected. And slowly, slowly, it releases a lot of damaging wear and tear uh, in our body, oxidative radicals, which can harm us, which causes us obesity, heart diseases, diabetes, hypertension, stroke, cancer, even, right? So we need to take care of our bodies right now before we suffer. I mean, ultimately, we will suffer, right? It's our body. Now, I'm just going to quickly cover what are the emotional eating patterns. So, there are 8 emotional eating patterns, and just check if any one of you have it. And if you think you have something like this, please comment in the comment section here. There is stress eating. This is when you're like people generally eat when they're stressed, like mostly doctors or anyone who are studying, they will suddenly start, they will gain weight during the exams. And there are some who lose weight during the exams. I'm the opposite. I lose weight. Even my sister, she will lose weight during the exams. But many people, I know of a lot of doctors who, when they've just come from an exam, they would have gained weight. And that's because of the stress eating. Some of them do comfort eating. At the end of the day, like when they've done a lot of work and they are coming back home, they want to comfort themselves for whatever um, they did. And that sort of eating, most of the foods that I'll tell you which foods most people are consuming in this emotional eating, which causes a problem. And that's comfort eating. Then there is boredom eating. So many women who are at home, who are not having a outside life, they're revolving their life around kids. So if kids or husband goes to school or office, then there's nothing to do and then they eat. That's boredom eating. Or there are so many women who eat at night, right? Before going to bed, they just keep on eating. Loneliness or sadness eating, this is not for me. Like for me, when I get sad, I just lose my appetite. Like there's no way I can eat. But there are some who can't tolerate sadness or loneliness. It's like no. So either there will be food, or there will be television, or there will be phone, or there will be substances. Like they cannot tolerate the idea of being lonely, right? So then there is celebration or reward eating. This is basically your birthdays and parties where we deserve it, right? Like if you think about it, something like a birthday, like I have my birthday tomorrow, I should just celebrate once a week, once a year, right? Like, but no, there is my birthday, then there is Diwali, which is coming up, and then there is my sister's birthday. If she was here, we would celebrate. And then there is Christmas, which is coming up. And then there's my father's birthday, then my mother's birthday, my brother's birthday, then my husband's, then my daughter's birthday. Then there's New Year's. Then there's my daughter's birthday. Then there is my husband's birthday. Then there is a Valentine's Day. Then there is March, there's Holi. And then there is like this every month there are 2, 3 celebrations. And if you have a kid, oh my God, there are birthdays of other kids. So you'll just keep going to birthday parties. The celebration and the reward eating never really ends. And there is a mindless eating. This is like this is the kind of eating which we have no control over. It's really mindless. Like we don't understand why we eat that way, but we just still continue eating that way because of a habit. Or guilt or shame eating. This is very typical for those who have lost the weight, by they lost and then they gained it back and then they're trying to lose weight. But every time when they don't lose the weight or they eat something unhealthy, they feel so guilty and they start shaming themselves. It feels so bad. That shame is so bad that they go and eat some more to feel better. That is guilt or shame eating. And then there is food addiction. Like I think this all is food addiction. All 8 patterns are food addiction. But like everyone has some coping mechanism, right? Like life is 50-50. Half of the times our life is going to be good, half of the times our life is going to be bad. And we all have our coping mechanisms of when it is good or bad, right? Like since our childhood, food has been our coping mechanism. Like if you think about a child who comes, they have very strong rooting reflex wherein their mouth will keep going to the nipple of the mother so that they get the food. Everything is about the food for the child. Like that's how they soothe themselves. Even while growing up, our mothers gave us food, but then that time that food was not as toxic as the kind of food that is available right now. So that food was good. That coping food as a coping mechanism was good when the food was not tampered so much. But right now, the food that we are consuming to comfort ourselves is causing us harm, is causing us all these lifestyle diseases, and that needs to be interrupted. Anytime you are breaking any sort of addiction, the only way to break that addiction is to stop the reward. And for those of us who are addicted to food or sugar or flour or caffeine or anything, that food is our reward. We need to just stop the reward. Let all the desire come, but no, we will not give it. And that's something which only you can do. And we can give you support while you're doing it, but ultimately the client has to do it. So everyone has a different coping mechanism. Some of us have food as a coping mechanism, and then we become food addicts. Foodies. Now, foodies, there are so many type of foodies, right? Like there are some foodies who really delight and in the whole art of cooking and eating, and like it's such a lovely sensory experience, right? But when it starts affecting our health, I like to then look at it like, okay, is it worth it when my body goes through this sort of suffering? I mean, as a doctor, I have a problem with it. And I want to help people who want to heal with that problem. But there are people who don't have a problem with it. They're pretty okay with the shit that happens after a consumption of this whole pack of chips. All right. So the emotional eating can present also as snacking, as overeating, binge eating, impulsive eating, eating against your own will, specifically addictive foods. Anything like if you the things which are addictive, they are really addictive. Let me tell you. Like you will know that it's addictive because of the way you start getting those cravings. Now, if I'm eating clean food, right? Like there's only fruits and vegetables and rice and like some healthy foods, no flour, no sugar, I don't get hungry. I don't get cravings. But if I consume sugar, within 24 hours, I'm going to like keep getting hungry. That craving keeps increasing. And that's a sign that it's an addictive food because my brain and my body is like craving for it. It's like, where is it? Where is it? We liked it. Give us some more, right? So we need to stop this sort of patterns, especially if you have PCOS. Because if you have PCOS, you can take medications to bring down your insulin resistance. But understand medications have side effects, plus you will have to keep taking it for the lifetime, right? So understand that. And also, there are like some drugs like Ozempic, which sort of again promise, but again, you need it lifetime. And these are diabetes medications, and they have side effects. And like so many patients will take it because they want to not let go of the food that they're eating. That food is just too yummy. But that's not what we are talking about here. That's not like if you want to keep your food, yes, you can keep. But if you want me to coach you to getting healthy, that's where then you can keep listening to this presentation, because I will talk about how to use food as your medicine, how to use your mind to ensure that you eat healthy and you break that addiction pattern with the foods which are harming you. So, PCOS reversal is basically becoming insulin sensitive. So, we can't treat PCOS permanently, but we can maintain its reversal, as in, like, it's not worsening as bad with just some dietary modifications. It's like, suppose you got to know you have diabetes, right? And first line treatment with diabetes is the doctor is not going to put you on diabetes medications at all. First, they're going to give you a glucose monitor and they're going to ask you to monitor your sugars. And then they're going to ask you to bring that sheet and they're going to tell you to simultaneously eat a diabetic diet and do the lifestyle changes. If you cannot manage that, then they will put you on medication. Similarly, PCOS can be managed with just diet and lifestyle modification. You don't need diabetes medication. I've just started drinking cold water. It feels amazing, especially in the Abu Dhabi heat. So, PCOS reversal is becoming insulin sensitive without medication or any supplements. I don't believe in supplements unless you have like gross deficiencies like anemia or thyroid, if you have a thyroid disorder and you need a supplement for that, a hormonal supplement. But apart from that, I don't really think it's like we, as doctors, we really need to prescribe our medications which are justified. Because just in case a patient gets an allergic response to it, that can be life threatening. We can get our licenses would be at stake if that medication was prescribed without an indication. And PCOS, it's indicated, sort of indication for metformin. You can give even the supplements, but these are all gray zones. So I don't want my patients to get side effects of the drugs as well. Like, why? You can manage it. I can, if you need help, right? I can help you the other ways as well. So let's talk about reversing insulin resistance. We do this by addressing four areas of our life. One is mindful eating, healthy foods. Second is sleeping better, eight 8 to 9 hours. Before I used to say 6 to 7, then I moved to 7 to 8, and now it's like 8 to 9 hours. Period. That's amazing. If you manage to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep, I think you're leading a good life. Moving regularly and managing your mind. These are four pillars. These are my four pillars of reversing PCOS, right? And we're going to talk in this about mindful eating. And we start by asking ourselves, what are the foods that cause PCOS? Now, certain dietary factors can influence PCOS for sure, but there is no food that directly causes PCOS. There are no food groups specifically. Some dietary choices may contribute insulin resistance and weight gain. This is what the studies say. But then again, we're talking about food here. We're not going in everyone's house to see what they're eating, right? Even if they are enrolled into the studies, we still don't know what all they are eating unless they were admitted in the hospital or like admitted in a facility and they were given only those foods. But then that feels like a prison. And we know what happened in the pandemic when patients were admitted in the hospital. They all lost their minds, right? They all thought that they're dying, or God, it was scary. But we don't know how the mind will work, right? So there is no hard evidence on this yet. There's still research which goes on, and there are promising results which come up each time. So, what are the ways to plan PCOS reversal food, right? Um, okay. Mindful eating. Mindful eating is the way you plan your meals 24 hours ahead of time and you eat as planned. That's the goal. Like if you do that, where you engage your prefrontal cortex, okay? So we have two parts of our brains. There is a thinking brain, which is our cortex, and then there is a lower brain or the emotional brain, which is basically our amygdala and hippocampus and the limbic system, which takes the impulses. So all the impulses from the world which are coming, like whatever I'm seeing, whatever you're seeing, you seeing me, it's coming from that amygdala. It's coming from that lower brain and it's scanning if it's life threatening. And then it will go into the thinking brain, right? So by default, all the information is coming from the thinking brain, sorry, from the emotional brain. And then it goes into the thinking brain. Now, generally, we don't like to use our thinking brain so much because that is a little bit extra work because information has come. There is a gatekeeper who will like decide, okay, this is working, that is working. Like it decides all by itself. All the decisions are made. If it's not life threatening, carry on doing whatever you're always doing. So if you don't engage your thinking brain intentionally, we have a power to do that. But if you don't intentionally engage your thinking brain in your food decisions, you're going to by default keep doing what you always did, which is eat the unhealthy foods. So you're going to keep doing those things all the time. And we don't want to keep doing those things all the time because those foods are harming us. But the lower brain doesn't know that those foods are harming us, right? Because it's thinking that you're alive, nothing bad happened, right? So we need to override that animal lower emotional brain by engaging our thinking brain, and this happens in the process of planning. Our left thinking brain is responsible for the planning and strategies, but we also need our right thinking brain, which engages compassion, and our right emotional brain, which engages curiosity. So we need to engage this every day, all four parts of the brain. What we ate, and then, okay, why did I eat that? By compassion, by engaging, being kind to ourselves. Then, like, okay, how can I eat again? How can we be creative to eat healthy foods? And that's where it becomes fun. So, planning your meals 24 hours in advance and eating as planned is the work. But to do this, you need to manage your mind, because this is not like some gym work. This is not gym like going and lifting weights, but it feels equally hard to manage your mind. It's mental gymnastics, right? So I offer you to first make decisions of all the foods that you're going to eat. And I call it a menu. Make a menu of your food choices, foods that you think are good, which you think you like and are healthy. Because the only person who comes to judge your food decisions is you. So make it very loud and clear in your brain on a paper, basically. What are the food items that you think are healthy for your PCOS, and what you think needs to be like what you like actually of these items. Then you plan 24 hours ahead of time those food items, and then you eat as planned. Now, that's not going to happen. None of these steps are going to happen. So you need to really keep coming back to this work every day, at least once a day. You need to engage self forgiveness when you don't plan or you don't eat as planned. So, a lot of compassion, and keep coming back to it and assess why you eat the way you eat. This is very, very important. Okay, I'm not taking Divya, Chinu, I'm not taking any requests. So, if you have any comments, please post in the comment. All right. So, I recommend going all in, as in no gradual tapering off of these unhealthy food items. I just want you to cut it off. Like, just make a decision. I'm not going to eat these food items. At least try it on for, say, like 1 month, right? Cut out all the unhealthy foods. This is what I recommend. And this is what I tell my clients. And they will be like, no, I want to taper it off, and I can't do this. I'm like, okay, you can try, but you could just cut it off. Like, it's the same work which is required, because every time you give yourself the permission to eat something unhealthy, right? Like, before I ask my clients to plan realistically, we're like, okay, plan for bread, half a bread, plan for chocolate, half a chocolate, plan for sugar, brown sugar. No, it doesn't work. Like, let's be honest here, we want to lose the weight and maintain it, period. Like, there is, like, you can try to be nice to yourself, but the work is literally the same for both. And you're making it worse for yourself by planning to eat these unhealthy foods. Because if you plan to eat unhealthy foods, that means your brain is confused. Like, why should I eat less of it when I can eat more of it? Like, it's not like I'm not eating it, I'm eating it. How do you decide? Right? So I recommend take it all off and engage discipline with love, like that firm discipline, right? Don't eat flour based foods, no flour based foods, no sugar based foods, no fried foods, no salty foods, no caffeine, right? The reason why I recommend this is because I want you to make it easy for your brain. Give clear instructions. Like, your brain is listening, dude. So please give clear instructions to your brain. Don't confuse your brain, because it can use confusion as a reason to like not plan or eat as planned. So it's very creative that way. Our brains are very sneaky and very creative. So be very clear what you want from it. Give clear instructions. Don't confuse it. Yeah. Brain is like a processing system. It will do exactly what you tell it to do. So keep clean, Keep cleaning every emotion that comes up when you don't eat as planned or you don't plan. All you have to do is just come back to that journal. One day, healthy eating will become automatic, but you need to keep working at it every day. Now, the goal is to become someone who eats clean always, especially for PCOS. Because unfortunately, we are not like other women who can, like, I used to always admire these girls who could eat whatever they want, but they would never gain weight. They would never gain weight. They would have no problem. They would look hot all the time. They would, I used to be like, why am I like this? Like, I just keep on struggling, right? Like, I eat little bit extra and I gain weight. I eat little bit extra, I get pimples. So my periods become irregular, or like something funny will happen. So for PCOS women, because of the way we are made, because of our structure, our goal is basically to always eat clean. It's almost like, those people who have allergies, they will always avoid those foods, right? Like someone who has peanut allergy, they literally start swelling up. They can't breathe anymore. It becomes life threatening. So they will stay miles away from anything which they have allergy to, right? Now, for PCOS, we don't have allergy to foods like this, but it's like a slow poison, these processed foods. They will keep harming us slowly and slowly. And it starts showing up in our body with irregular periods, with weight gain, pre-diabetes, right? So the goal is to eat clean always, not just for 3 to 6 months, but we need to keep on managing our mind until we maintain that weight effortlessly and we just start eating healthily for the rest of our life. Now, by that, I don't mean that we are just going to never eat flour and sugar. Of course, you're going to eat flour and sugar because our brain never listens to us, right? If it listened to us, we would be like gods. But unfortunately, it doesn't listen to us. And because it doesn't listen to us, we will have lots of opportunities where we will get to eat our food, our unhealthy foods. But we use those opportunities to assess, why did I eat that? And what do I want? Right? So I recommend removing all these breakfast items which are harmful, right? Like cornflakes are okay, but if they are coated with sugar, not okay. Fruit Loops, not okay. That's just sugar. Any cereal, they are made of from flour. Um, Even something as good as muesli, it has sugar in it. They will put some sort of sugar in it. But if you manage to make your own muesli without sugar, with just natural ingredients, that's good. Instant oatmeal with sugar, avoid it. That's like, how fast, have you ever had oatmeal and do you feel hungry quickly? Like, I used to be like, this is supposed to be health food, why am I hungry? And hunger is pretty annoying, right? Because we like, before PCOS reversal, we our whole agenda in life was basically to never feel hungry, so we will just keep eating. But oatmeal, I'm like, I'm already eating more and then I'm hungry after eating this health food. What's happening? Right? So instant oatmeal is really high glycemic index. White bread, bagels, Arabic breads, pancakes, waffles, sweetened yogurts, puddings, mousse, mouse I've written, fruit syrups, pastries, croissants, muffins, fruit juices with added sugar, even natural fruit juices. I would rather have you have natural fruit. Instant breakfast, what is this? Instant breakfast drinks with sugar. Oh wow, that is just like when I was a kid, we used to get this Horlicks. It is like an energy drink. It's a protein drink in India. So it's a powder. And then you mix it in water or milk and then drink it. And that they promoted that as like a health drink. And now we know it's like just plain sugar. And I was so messed up in my head while I used to study for my medicine. I would have this big bottle of Horlicks. I would finish half of it just eating as a powder. I would not even put it in water or milk. I would just eat it. Like, that is the power of sugar. It can get you addicted to it, like, without knowing it. It just tastes so amazing, right? Heavenly. Keep it away from the kids because that's like giving poison to kids. Puris, then dosa, idli, these are flour-based foods. They will make you hungry really fast. They will increase your insulin fast. Even sabudana, I don't know if you're Indian, like it's called tapioca pearls. It's sort of an starchy product. Like if I just consume sabudana khichdi as my breakfast, after 1 hour I'll be drowsy. That is the level of sugar it has. Vermicelli, semolina, white rice-based dishes, sweets, jalebi laddus, sweet tea, sweet coffee, sweet lassi, lemonades, kokum juices, whatnot. All of that, avoid it. And also remove all of these lunch and dinner items. White rice, jasmine rice, that is an addictive substance. That jasmine rice is so tasty, you will end up consuming more of it, because it's not just about removing this food. We also don't want to overeat, right? Like if you want to bring your insulin down, so avoid any sort of rice which is amazingly tasty and which you will land up overeating, because rice also has a lot of sugar in it, right? Now I recommend you can eat rice, but it really needs to be this much. And the vegetables need to be this much. Instant noodles avoided, pastas avoided, white bread, rolls avoided for your lunch. Potatoes are good, but avoid mashed or fried potatoes. Definitely not fried potatoes, because that is just inflammatory. Corn or potato chips, any sort of chips is not good because they're fried. But if you're making it yourself, then go for it. Like if you're making food on your own, just know that, make it like as a way, like a treat for yourself, and not like a harmful thing for yourself. So don't fry it. Like I don't fry foods. And if I see anyone frying anything in my house, I really get I feel sad. Like, why is this happening in my house? Why are people frying things in my house? I don't like it. Pretzel, salt crackers, avoided. Soda, cakes, cookies, sugar-based dressings, avoid parathas, naans. Sugar, it is flour-based, okay? So avoid it, especially those which are made with refined flour. If you're trying to lose weight, I would always recommend stay away from any sort of flour base, almond flour, oat flour, this flour, that flour. We want to stay away from as much refined and processed as possible. Try to have as much whole foods, natural foods, have more of proteins and like lesser meals so that you lose the weight. And when you have lost the weight, in the maintenance, the work is still the same. You need to figure out how to balance your weight at, like, you need to figure out what is the food I meal plan that you can have which will not let you gain weight. So stay away from anything which is flour based as much as possible, and later on you can reintroduce a little bit, but then again keep checking your weight like at least every 2 weeks to see, like, okay, I had flour this whole week, or 2 weeks I had flour and I gained a lot of weight. So it's the flour, right? Because you were maintaining very well without the flour. Avoid biryanis too much. Like if you're having a biryani, have more of the protein in it and lesser rice. Maggie's, instant noodles avoided, sweet curries avoided, sauces. Like sauces also, like there should not be any sugar or any sort of artificial stuff in it. Desserts avoid, samosas, pakoras avoid, white bread sandwiches, flour-based curries. So this is like an exhaustive list. And you might ask me, what should you eat then? There is nothing remaining. So many, I will get hate messages like, you recommend all this, what is there to eat? Like, there is a lot to eat, I will tell you. So make a menu of all your favorite food items, right? Your favorite breakfast items, healthy breakfast items, favorite snack options, healthy snack options, especially if you are maintaining weight. Like I have a lot of PCOS women who are lean PCOS. They are not actually overweight, but they have irregular periods. And I ask them to snack more because they're not eating. That is their problem. So include healthy snack options for them. Then make a list of your favorite lunch items, favorite beverages, favorite dinner items, favorite desserts, favorite weekend foods, favorite party foods, favorite vacation foods, favorite fasting foods. I think that's the last one. So there's so many type of food items that we have, and you can decide that ahead of time. What are your favorite ones? And planning meals and eating as planned. So after you have made these choices, yeah, I think I've done this. Oh, wow. Okay. So make a list of your favorite health foods when it comes to animal-based proteins. Like you can like if you focus on proteins, you're sorted. Because proteins, we first of all, proteins are essential nutrients. Our body cannot make protein. Our body can make carbohydrate, our body can make fat, but it cannot make protein. So we need proteins, but we need to balance it. And I personally recommend to try to have as much natural protein as possible and not just those shakes, because we want to eat food, we want to chew food, we want to like enjoy the experience of eating, you know, like, so the shakes won't give you that. Plus, it's a shake, so it's refined. It's going to increase your insulin. So try to avoid shakes if you're not exercising. If you're exercising, or if you're in some sort of deficit, as in you're underweight, or you're actually an athlete and exercising and lifting weights heavily, then you can definitely have your shakes, because then you're breaking your proteins, breaking your muscle, and you need protein to repair it. But if you're not breaking your protein, you don't need shakes. Go for healthy animal-based proteins or plant-based proteins. So animal-based proteins are like eggs, poultry, dairy, meat, fish. And plant-based proteins are like legumes and pulses, whole grains, soy-based proteins, nuts and seeds, protein powders. Now, some like only thing with plant-based proteins is that it will produce a lot of gas. So like legumes and pulses, they will produce a lot of gas. Like something like a 1 cup of chickpeas or 1 cup of lentils, masoor, is very good amount of protein in it, but it will produce a lot of gas. So if that is not an issue for you, go ahead, have your plant-based protein. But otherwise, animal-based proteins are good enough. Our body can handle it. Then focus on good fats like butter, ghee. These are animal fats. Avoid seed oils because they have seen that it produces a lot of inflammation, especially when things are fried in it, especially when there is like a lot of food which is like deep fried and the temperature of these seed oils is increased. Then we get those trans fats, those food items which actually cause you arteriosclerosis, which is damage of your blood vessels. So that's why avoid the seed oils. You can have dark chocolate, but as I said, avoid caffeine after 12 p.m. and dark chocolate would have caffeine. So try to have it if you want to ensure an optimal luxurious sleeping experience. Have your dark chocolate in the daytime, like before 12. Nuts and seeds, you can have, they have good fats in it. Eggs have good fats in it. Yolk is good. There was a time when they demonized the yolk, but yolk is amazing. I've been having eggs, daily eggs, for a lifetime actually. But I think for 5 years, I'm having 2 eggs every day minimum. And I didn't get any problem. I'm maintaining my health. I never got COVID. I have allergies, but that's also so much under control since I removed the flour and sugar. So eggs is not bad, especially if you don't have allergies. If you're blessed with no allergies to egg, go for it. Dairy, that's good fat in dairy. Fatty fish is good. And the bad fats, again, the ones which there is like a lot of deep frying, avoid those foods. Like they produce trans fats. So hydrogenated oils, I don't know if you know of it, like daldas. We used to, like when we were kids, we would bring daldas, and then all the mithais and all the frying would happen in it because it was cheaper. But that is toxic for our blood vessels, right? Or any sort of or oil-based butter, margarines, they are not good for your heart. Then any sort of fried food basically is not good, so stay away from it. Your KFC chicken, fried fish, fried chips, anything fried is bad. Make a list of your favorite beverages. Now, most people like their beverages to be something like coffee and tea, or juices and smoothies, all of it is not good, right? Like black coffee, black tea is okay before 12 p.m. for PCOS women, but after that, avoid it as much as possible. So, 2 cups of coffee is tolerable, small ones, not espresso. I mean, avoid the espresso, dilute it as much as possible. Unsweetened teas are good. Water is good. Water is amazing. I'm just sipping on this like constantly because we are not used to talking for so long as doctors, but like as a coach, especially if I'm presenting webinars, it's like it hurts my throat, man. So drinking water is amazing. Salty lemonades, especially if you're fasting, that salt in your lemonade can really help you energize because of the electrolyte loss which happens. Bone broths are good if you like it. So let's plan our meal for tomorrow, right? Let's see if we can do that. Check if you have a regular day or a special day. Like for me, tomorrow is actually my birthday, and tomorrow is also Saturday, and also is special because my parents are here. So it's like all in all a very special day for me. So check. Sometimes weekends are special for us. If it's your regular day, would you like to have breakfast? Would you like to have lunch? Would you like to have dinner? Would you like to have desserts? Would you like to have snacks? Ask yourself these questions, right? And for special events, what sort of special event is it? Is it an office party, birthday party? It's a weekend, vacation, stressful events coming up, fasting day. So check yourself, right? We are planning, we are predicting what is the day going to be tomorrow and what would I like to eat. And it's very uncomfortable in the beginning, but once you start doing this work, it gets easier. And sometimes it's not easy to just predict. Like it's hard. Like it was very hard for me to just like do this imaginative work. So what I started doing was I started doing a sort of retrospective work where I ate whatever I ate and I started writing down what I ate. Then I started seeing, because it's every day, right? Like for however long you're doing this work of weight loss, you have an opportunity to do it for so much long. You can gather so much data. Just start writing down what you're eating so that you have a reference to like how do you eat when it's the weekend, right? You should have a list already ready for you. So we want to have, if you're trying to lose weight, oh wow, there's something missing in here. If you want to lose weight in PCOS, I recommend 2 meals a day. If you want to lose weight, go for it. 2 meals a day, it's satisfactory. You don't really need 3, 4 snacks in a day. Like snacking is an emotional event. You don't need it. If you want to lose weight, we need to reduce the food. Like, how else are you going to lose weight? People think that they need to exercise to lose weight, but how much are you going to lose weight with exercise? Like, really, seriously, you will have to work out a lot to create a deficit. Just reduce the amount of food. You have enough calories on you, you have fat, right? So, reduce the number of foods. Now, unless you are an underweight PCOS, you need to increase food. But if you're overweight PCOS, obese PCOS, you need to just go for 2 meals a day, lose the weight fast, maintain it fast. Don't keep doing this for the rest of your life. People keep doing this forever, right? We don't want to do it forever. So go for 2 meals a day. See whether you have enough proteins in your meal, enough good fats in your meal, and some complex carbohydrates, not the refined ones, not processed, but like complex, like fruits and vegetables or some whole grains. Sorry. And in for beverages, go for in between coffee, tea, water. Maintain a 6 to 8 hour eating window and stop eating at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. And every meal, if you're having 2 meals a day, finish your meal in maximum 1 hour. Don't keep eating throughout, because the longer you keep eating, the insulin rise will keep happening. And you really don't need to eat food as an entertainment. Just like fuel it, feel good, nourish yourself, and move on. Don't keep snacking. No snacking, right? And every time, like this is what I want you to expect from you as a PCOS woman. Like this is how I should be eating. This is the disciplined way of eating. And anytime you're doing something different, get curious. Bring it to the journal. Explore why you ate that way. right? There is a reason. There are sentences in your mind, unconscious thinking, which is making you eat that way. You need to uncover it. So, our goal is to become someone who has 2 meals a day. And suppose you lose weight, you get pregnant. In pregnancy, you can maintain 3 meals a day very well. You don't really need to snack so much. We just started snacking in the last 10, 15 years. Before, we were not snacking so much. Some women were feeling dizzy and all, and we would ask them to take salt crackers, and you can always keep some salty stuff with you. You don't need, because PCOS women will get diabetes in pregnancy, and that's just another full protocol for that. What happened? It's not moving. Okay. I want you to gather data, right? So I have a spreadsheet. I can send it to you. Just comment in the link below, or you can go to the link in my bio, or just like email me that you want the spreadsheet and I will send you a link. It's a free spreadsheet. It's in Google Sheets. You can just download it and you can start filling it up every day. So all you have to do is come to this spreadsheet. Come to this spreadsheet and fill up the data, gather data every day. Or you can do it in a notebook, wherever it is, but you need to gather data of what you're doing. This is the way to eat mindfully, right? You can gather data like, what is the date? What is the day? Menstrual day? How did I sleep? How did I exercise? What was my first meal of the day? Did I stop when I was full? What worked in that meal? Why did I eat that way? Did I avoid any emotion? Did I overeat? What will I do differently tomorrow? And then you do the next meal. So you need to change as a person. Remember, like you are someone who is actually overweight right now, and you need to change. If you're going to become underweight, you really need to change as a human being. Your identity will change because your current food habit is a habit. And for you to change into a new habit, you need to change all your habits. You change your lifestyle. You have practiced your current lifestyle over years, and you can start new ones today by making a menu, planning your meals 24 hours in advance, predicting challenges, creating strategies to eat as planned, and assessing with love. So many of us would have obstacles to this sort of thing. Now, that's just a given. But if you are someone who's watching this video so far, so understand that you're going to have lots of obstacles. Like your brain is not going to let you do any of what I'm suggesting. And these are just some of the obstacles which I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to give you some strategies. If it works for you, use it. But if not, then you need to keep getting coached about every meal, literally. And the first obstacle is, I will do it tomorrow. Like, this is the best one my brain uses. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow for sure. Tomorrow. That tomorrow never comes. And I do that for years, right? So you have to counteract with that belief. The moment you become aware that your brain is saying, I'll do it tomorrow, just say, no, I'll do it now. I'll do it now. Speak it out loud so that it becomes loud. I'll do it now. And it's just like a very subtle shift, and you will actually start planning today. I will exercise instead. This was my other favorite one. And I want you to complement it with, I will also exercise. Like I will eat healthy and I will also exercise, because exercising is not a way to lose weight. Exercising complements weight loss, but the way to lose weight is by changing the way you're eating, right? So you can exercise, but you need to eat healthy first. The next excuse that our brain offers is like, I'll just get a surgery or supplements or some medication. I can't do this. And I want to offer you that no, we're not getting surgeries or anything. That's not required. I just have to manage my mind. I can manage my mind. We are experts of our lives. We do manage our minds in areas of our life where it matters. So right now, it doesn't matter to you to lose weight. And that's why that area has not changed. But can you sell that idea to yourself that it matters that I become healthy? The next one is, there is no point, because I lost weight last time. I gained it back. There is no point. And I want to offer you, This is for my body. That is the point. This is for me. You really have to fight for your own body in your own mind, because the only person against you are against is you. This is too slow. You can tell your brain that, yes, I'm in no hurry. It's okay that it's slow. I don't want to. This was another my favorite. I just don't want to. And my response to it would be like, I don't want to, and I will still eat as planned anyway. Like that's what we do, right? Like we go to work, we go to school, we go to college, even when we don't want to, we just go anyway, right? Why? Because it's a non-negotiable for us. So we have to make eating healthy non-negotiable. My partner or my family will not support me. This is the next excuse. And you have to tell yourself, no, I need only my support. That's it. I don't need my partner's support or my family's support. I just need my support. I can't handle it is the next one. And I want you to counteract that belief of I can't handle it with I can do hard things. As I said, you are an expert of your life. You have done lots of hard things and you can do this as well. I don't know where to start. And whenever our brain offers that, like when we are like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, so many times, so many of my clients will just keep saying that, I don't know, I don't know. Don't say, I don't know. Like in life coaching, like my coach will be like, you're not allowed to say, I don't know. That's just like you blocking your brain. So you can say, like, the belief that works for me is like, all I have to do is just come to my journal because there are all these prompts which are laid out, right? And I just have to answer those questions. People won't like it is one of the excuses or obstacles my clients' brains would have. Like, people won't like it when I go on some sort of, when I'm losing weight. My husband won't like it. It's like, and my solution for that is like, people are allowed to not like it. Let them be upset. It's none of your business. They can be upset, but you stay in your lane, right? I might get sick is one of the excuses, like not excuses, but like real objections which my clients give. Like, I might really get sick. I got sick last time when I was fasting. And I want to offer you that you can trust your body to keep you safe. Period. Nothing bad will happen. If you're not a diabetic on medications, if you're not on any medication and you start experiencing real sickness, I want you to trust your body that your body will go to the fat stores and get energy from there. Okay, I'm gonna answer all these questions at the end. Okay, Nas? Okay, now I have a few tips to do this work. But before that, I want to offer you just one coaching package that I have in case if you're interested in working with me, right? This is basically, I can coach you to commit to these 4 areas: eating mindfully every meal, no matter what, sleeping every night 7 to 8 hours, exercising daily, managing mind daily. These are 4 things I will help you practice daily until you lose weight and maintain it for the rest of your life. Like, you can get coaching until that, right? This is PCOS lifestyle coaching, where what we do is basically we meet every week on a Zoom call for an hour for at least 24 sessions. So 6 months of coaching package I have. And I help you plan your meals and assess the process, like whatever I taught you today, but that would be individualized for you every session. Like, I will help you make your menu, and then we will plan a meal for the week. And then next week we will meet again and see whether you ate as planned. If you didn't, I will help you find the reasons why. I'll coach you on your emotional problems. And I will help you with the assessing process. And when we plan again, you will be having unlimited WhatsApp messaging support with me. Then I will be solving your emotional struggles with coaching to form these new eating habits, and also learn to change the way you think about your relationship with yourself, with your partner, with your money, with your health, with your time, anything basically which keeps you from those eating habits, those healthy eating, sleeping, moving habits. So that's what I want to offer you, that one on one support for 6 months until you get to your health goal. And wait a minute, this one is later. So you and I would basically, we would commit to your goal while we are doing this work, where we plan to eat healthy every day, and I'll teach you how to be kind to yourself, be kind and nice to yourself. We will try, we will fail until we find the right healthy meal that you like, which you can have for the rest of your life. And you basically learn the art of planning your meals. I will help you with your emotional problems. I will help you think differently about your life choices, and we will dig deeper into your problems to find the root causes of why you eat the way you eat. And I'll keep you motivated even when you don't want to. And I'll get you to the finish line, which is basically the weight loss or regular periods or getting pregnant naturally. Now, it might vary from people to people depending on how much weight loss you want to achieve, but weight loss is something I can definitely help you with. Regarding getting pregnant, we can keep working on it until you get to the result. So it might be 6 months, it might be a year, or it might be in pregnancy as well, and it might be later on as well. So why should you get coached by a physician life coach? Is because I don't want you to just hope that you will magically get pregnant. That many PCOS women do that, but when you're getting coached directly, what's happening is you're taking massive action for whatever is in your control, and massive controlled action, guided action. You have a doctor's guidance, you have emotional support which no one is offering. No instructor, no nutritionist, no therapist is offering specifically for life coaching, specifically for PCOS. No PCOS related doctor is offering this sort of emotional support. You will have a better chance of having a healthy pregnancy, and you will eat healthy now for a healthy pregnancy and a healthy future. So this is the work. And I'll take you step by step from cleaning your mind and your body, getting healthy, trying to conceive, to getting pregnant naturally. Now, the cost of the package to work with me one on one is $5,000 for 6 months. That is, you get 24 sessions, and you pay, either you can pay upfront or you can make monthly payments. But that is the cost of the package. At the end of 6 months, you will lose weight for sure. It's like almost like going to a store and buying weight loss. So you'll definitely lose weight. You will regulate your periods. That's what happens for most women when they lose weight in PCOS. You might even get pregnant naturally, and you might even have an easy pregnancy. All right. So few tips. So if you want to work with me as a one-on-one coach, I've just told you about the package. If you want to review these details, send me a message and I can send you the link to this presentation. And once you can review the presentation, and if you still have doubts about coaching, getting coached by me one-on-one, please book a clarity call with me so that you can ask me all the questions, and I can also decide whether you're actually ready for coaching. So please book a clarity call before you decide if you have any sort of doubts. Now, few tips to doing this work of planning your PCOS meals is basically doing the planning work with a habit, like every morning coffee. Like take one moment, like I do it before I start my day. I give myself that luxurious time. Like I need at least 15 minutes to do my food journal. So I try to do it with my morning coffee before I start coaching or before I go to work. I find that time for myself. So do it with that specific time so that your brain knows that, okay, this is the time when she starts journaling, and it will become a habit by itself. Next is have a glass of water before eating something unplanned. Like, like if suppose you have planned to eat 2 meals a day and then you have a desire to snack, I want to offer you to drink a glass of water before doing that. Because what will happen is just the act of drinking water sometimes can distract you from that urge to eat unplanned, or it might be thirst actually, which might get quenched and you no longer have to eat. Also, you can try to close your eyes for 5 minutes, especially when you're like having this urgency to eat something. Close your eyes for 5 minutes or stare at a wall if feeling urges to eat unplanned food. Next is celebrate something every meal. That's what I ask you to answer. What worked? Like, what was good about that meal? Answer that, because let's give credit to your brain because it's making you enjoy that meal, right? Like, let's give some credit to it. Also, how can you appreciate every food item you eat without judgment? Because that judgment is the problem part. Like, most of the coaching which I do in the 6 months of coaching my clients is like, I help them with their judgment of themselves. Like, doing the work is easy, but when you come with that harsh judgment to yourself, you need to practice the art of being nice to you. It's phenomenal and you have to try it. What was the feeling you were avoiding with that food? That's a very important question, especially when you do that mindless eating, any sort of emotional eating, which is not on plan, but you ate it. Like, understand there was some emotion, some random worry that you were trying to avoid with that food. You wanted to feel better in that moment. Listen to this video again and again and answer questions that your brain might offer, right? Like, anytime you feel like, no, she's that, I don't like that, stop the video, do a thought download, write down whatever is coming in your mind and like explore that. All right. What is next page? Okay, I think it's over. All right. So I think one more. So the take home message I wanted to give you guys. Okay. That's my presentation. Yeah. The take home message is that this process is of changing habits and you are only against you. You are against no one else. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. You don't know their journey. You really don't know their journey. If you talk to those people, you will hear their really scary story. And you'll be like, oh my God, I didn't know you were going through all this, right? So you are only against yourself. So don't compare yourself to anyone. And overeating, like, your brain has all the answers, period. And that's what we do on coaching, actually. I don't have the answers for you. And even if I give you my answers, that they might not be believable for you. So your brain has all the answers. So I'll keep on, like, if you're getting coached by me, you will always be, I'll be always be making you answer questions, like figure out the answer yourself. Like, there is an answer inside. And overeating is basically an underfeeling problem. So anytime you want to overeat, it's because you're trying to avoid some feeling. And feeling is feeling is just a sensation in your body. It's literally like, I'm scared, and it will just feel like very heavy. I'm sad, very heavy. I'm powerless, a victim, very heavy. There's happy, is like light, right? Angry, you know how those feelings are. So we are literally trying to avoid these feelings by overeating. We can just feel these feelings. There's nothing scary about them. They're just feelings. We always you're right now also feeling a lot of feelings. Like, we feel at work, right? All the time. But then we feel like we felt a lot and then we come home and overeat. It's not required. You could just sleep if you want to, or just go take a shower and engage in some natural pleasures. Because the worst that can happen is an uncomfortable emotion. Like, if you decide to not eat that unhealthy food, the worst that is going to happen is that you're going to feel deprivation. And that also, you will feel deprivation if you didn't manage your mind, if you didn't do the journal work, which I tell you to do. And even then, it's not that bad. It's just that deprivation will be registered in your brain solidly. And we don't want you to do this work with deprivation. That's why I keep answering questions in the food journal every day so that you understand why you do what you do. And always remember, you can do hard things. All right. So that's the end of my presentation, and I'm going to answer some of the questions. Okay, powerful. Okay, good. So I think some of you had some questions here. Okay, can maintaining insulin resistance in our body avoid diabetes during pregnancy, before and after? Yeah, sure thing. Now, if you have PCOS, most likely you might still get gestational diabetes, as in your GTT might come abnormal, but you might not need medication. Like the chances of you, like if suppose you have lost the weight before you get pregnant and you maintain clean eating habits, your GTT might come normal also. And even if it comes abnormal, I want you to take it as a blessing. And I want you to monitor yourself and see what are the food items which make your sugar high, which food items make your sugar low. And the goal, even in pregnancy, is basically to just maintain that healthy sugar level so that the baby is not exposed to so much sugar. So the doctor will actually help you maintain that sugar. And if you are not able to maintain that sugar, they will put you on medication. But I know of so many patients who manage their diabetes with just monitoring and dietary modifications. They don't need medications, right? But sometimes they just need, and you can explore what you ate. I always ask all my diabetic patients to keep a food journal of what they're eating, and can you just avoid that instead of going on medication, because not all medications, like insulin, is safe in pregnancy, but metformin, there is no hard evidence that is safe. So the doctor will still want to put you on insulin, which they think is safer. But then if you can manage without insulin, excellent. But if you still can't, and sometimes we keep the patients in the hospital and we give them diabetic diet, and still the sugars are shooting up and they really need metformin or insulin. What are best food for lowering testosterone? You need to really remove all the flour and sugar based foods, because that is the food which produces the estrogenic foods, and they can increase the testosterone, because the insulin resistance is causing excess testosterone. They go hand in hand together. Also, can we have cheat meals in PCOS without triggering it in once in a while? The way I teach meal planning, I want you to focus on eating healthy every day. That's the end goal. But because that doesn't work, at least in the beginning, it doesn't work. So you are going to land up keep eating unhealthy foods, right? I don't want to I don't want you to confuse yourself that that one meal is allowed, and that one meal turns into two meals in a day, then that two meals turn into a weekend, then that weekend turns into like another. When you're feeling bad, very quickly it turns into again and again eating unhealthy foods. So I personally recommend, sound is very low, Saida. I'm almost finishing my presentation. Okay, Saida, sorry. Saida, just DM me and I send me your email address, and I can send you the presentation that I have on Zoom. It's recorded. I will send it over. So where was I? I don't recommend cheat meals. But I myself have regularly flour and sugar based foods, but I always come and understand, like write in my food journal why I do that. Especially if you're trying to lose weight, I wouldn't want you to put any cheat meals. Like, let all the emotions come up. Like, I will speak to my clients and they're like, I just can't. I just want my gluten. I just want my sugar. So they will like use a lot of willpower, but that willpower will generate a lot of deprivation in your body. It will remember next, like when you lose the weight with deprivation, and then you go back to your old eating habits, you'll gain it all back, and then you'll resist the whole idea of losing weight, right? I don't want you to do that. So keep a goal always. Like, remember, like it's like forming a habit, right? um like when we are driving, when we are learning to drive, we can, like in India, I didn't learn proper driving. I just drove to keep myself safe. Like they taught me a few things, and I just had to follow those things and just have to keep myself safe. That was like a survival driving. I didn't really learn proper driving. But when I came to UAE, I learned proper driving. There are proper rules, and if I don't follow the rules, I might actually harm someone else, or I might get harmed. And that was like not okay. Cars are really fast here. And I want you to understand, for PCOS women, we need to really remove as much of flour and sugar as possible. If you are young, you still have age on your side, and we can stay reverse for the rest of our life, because as we grow older, around perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, insulin resistance worsens. So really get into that habit of like taking off all of that unhealthy cheat meals that you want to do as much as possible. Constantly manage your mind around foods and figure out yummy, delicious, nutritious, healthy foods, which will also serve you and which you would like. Okay. All right. So that's it for today. If you need a recording of this video, it's on Zoom recorded. It's almost 1 hour, 21 minutes. So if you want a recording of that, send me a comment. And if possible, send me an email address or send me a comment. And in DM, if you're sending, send me your email address and I can send you the recording there. Now that I hear on Facebook group, the audio was low, so but this video will be uploaded on Instagram as well and on Facebook as well. But if you want to see the slides, then it's on Zoom. It's recorded on my computer. I don't know how to do it on the lives. All right, that's it for today, my friend. I will see you next time.